Nobody ever asked me to lift Jerry Rice across my chest and lift him. It's what he said.
That's great.
So, yeah, I mean, obviously you might want to see more weight on somebody or more of a build
That's just
or
to
whatever.
want to see him physically hold up at the next level. And if you
put the pads on, right? I mean, then...
Yeah, I mean, there's numbers that'll support it, though. When you're at a certain size, you need to be accompanied by a certain speed to be able to protect yourself.
It's 4.42. Horton, good thing he got the whistle.
Again, he hasn't been 100% very long, so that means he's probably legitimate a 4.3, high 4.3 runner.
Well, plus the head shake is another indication that he's a 4.3 runner.
Yeah, he's got more. He knows he can be faster than that.
I always like your second bite at the apple.
I like to go back for seconds.
You know what I mean? Luther Burden from St. Louis, Missouri, went to high school in East St. Louis, playing his college ball in Missouri. Off he goes. 4.42.
It's a good time for him.
Bond again showed up here and said he was going to break the record and he could run in the 4.1s. And again, last year, when Xavier Worthy broke the record, said 4.20 next year, and this is his second run after running 4.41. Can he do it? Isaiah Bond runs a 4.44,
which again is a great time. It's a great time, but not in the same ballpark as
Ty Felton, Maryland.
A couple Feltons back to back here. He's real productive, plays inside and outside, and he is fast.
That is a fast turtle. Now with Florida, Chimere Dike, look at this 40 while we were gone.
Woo!
4.34. Matthew Golden.
He's one of my favorite players in this position group.
4.3 flat.
Yep, I'll take. Sign me up for that.
Longhorn simulcam as we throw to break, presented by Rocket. What do we got here? It's just not. It's not fair when you put him up against Worthy, right? From the combine, breaking a record to 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl.
How about that?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say you got some more coming, Coach.
Well, we got to keep recruiting speed, right? You know, we like speed too.
All right, all right, all right, as they would say. 2 of the top 5 are Longhorns. Thanks for coming on, Coach.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Back with more from the combine in a sec.
You look at the next-gen stats. How about the top speed there? Bond didn't get the time that he wanted,
but he got the top.
He got up to the top speed, and then Matthew Golden not far behind.
I don't think we're going to be leaving here going, oh my gosh, you see Josh Allen throw it 75 yards. So we're going to look at these guys and go, okay, which was the better thrower of this group? Because they're not going to wow us, so they're going to have to come out here and show us they know how to throw the football. So that's what I like about this competition, is I think at the end of the day, it's going to be DJ and I going, okay, who'd you feel understood how to make these different throws the best of a quality group of quarterbacks?
I always go back to what we saw from C.J. Stroud here a few years back.
He was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just, everything was on balance. There was a rhythm to him, and every ball had the right pace. It just was you can see it. You see a guy throw live, it's just different. You get an appreciation for it.
And I love that word, DJ. I use it all the time, pace. That doesn't mean throwing it hard, right? Doesn't mean the ball's hanging out there, but it's the pace. It's the right kind of pace for the distance of throw, or the touch kind of throw that they make. And so I'm always looking for that. So it comes off, I use the term firm but soft. My son always says that's not physics, Dad. It can't be firm but soft. I truly believe it can. And those are the kinds of things I'm looking at too, DJs. I want to see, do they put the right pace on all the different throws?
Well, what we're seeing right now is just a straight-up, over-the-shoulder adjust drill for the wide receivers only. And by that I mean the quarterbacks that we're eager to see spin it here today are still warming up. It's the, if you will, throwing quarterbacks that were out there with the tight ends and the conversion drills on Monday night with the linebackers and defensive linemen and the defensive backs yesterday. So there's a couple of these drills, this one and then the gauntlet drill for just the wide receivers alone, and then the quarterbacks that we're looking forward to see spin it will get out there and have drills with the wide receivers. Meanwhile, just two yards apart is Kurt Warner and, well, now 1 yard apart because Kurt keeps moving closer to Charles Davis. Look out. Good to see it, Charles. He's down there as well.
Great to see you guys, and how cool is it I get to hang out here with Kurt while he watches these quarterbacks work. And then the good thing about the top quarterbacks is it's not just their quarterbacking. They know what the receivers need to do, and they have a chance to work with them as well. Now, we won't see that here much today. Everyone will be taking care of their own knitting. But I know darn well when Kurt Warner's operating a drill, if he's not getting exactly what he needs from a receiver, he knows how to get it and knows how to correct it too.
Well, and that's one of the things that we always talk about when you get to the combine. A lot of different guys out here working together that haven't worked before. When I'm watching a quarterback, I want to see the quarterback make the right throw, even if it's not a completion. And I always feel that's one of the hard things when guys are out here is it's like, I think I have to complete every ball or everybody's going to think I can't play. Just make the right kind of throws.
And long, you know.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Just one after another, just fire it into you.
And I handled them just as well as those guys did too.
And then throw it away. That's the gauntlet drill.
Okay, let's look at Ladd McConkey going through this. Get a chance to see him last year with the Chargers, and we're going to really transform this drill into real life as he's catching the ball, going down the line. Look at him stay right down the line. Oh, now all of a sudden we're in pads.
Nice.
Look at that. Getting a chance to see him catch it on the dead run and go. Again, you're going to get balls at different locations. Some might get on you real quick. Some are going to be out in front. Some are going to be in that back hip. And Ladd McConkey caught just about all of them from Justin Herbert this last year.
Besh, TCU.
I love the tracker. Let's see if Bond can stay down this line a little bit.
That's nice.
Pretty good. And Luther Burden, who already, with that time that he ran in the low 4.4, has got everything he needed. And now you're seeing hands. He's got great hands.
So we're back live now. You know, obviously you watched Ladd McConkey, Ladidi McConkey.
They do call him that in the facility.
Do they really?
Yeah, that stuck.
I'm honored since that came from the Rich Eisen show, and Keegan-Michael Key came on and did his Mr. Garvey bit. But the reason why I bring it up, though, is it was right around this time last year when Jim came aboard, and what were they going to do at the receiver spot, and Keenan Allen was essentially gone, and Mike Williams was essentially gone. What are they going to do? What are they going to do at the receiver position? And he had one of the greatest rookie seasons. Now, I understand his, I guess, co-tenant of that building in Puka Nacua holds that mark, certainly in recent years for wide receivers. But what McConkey was able to do was remarkable this year.
When we were talking, are they going to take a wide receiver at the top of that draft? And Joe Ortiz and Jim Harbaugh being in lockstep on, we're going to invest in the line of scrimmage. Coach Harbaugh said he believes offensive linemen are weapons. So he takes Joe Alt and gets that position solidified, knowing with the depth of the receivers he was going to get a stud with his next pick,
right?
Which he got in McConkey, which leads to kind of the discussion we had earlier today about the running back depth.
Yes.
And sometimes that can cause some of those guys to get pushed down a little bit because teams know they can get one and fill another need first.
Is there a McConkey comp in this year's draft class that you want to throw out here just to put a button on this conversation, or there is not?
Well, in terms of guys that are going to go maybe top of two, I think we've got our group that we're seeing here today. Luther Burden is kind of on that border. I had a first-round grade on McConkey, and he ended up getting to the second round. So it would be if Emeka, Buka, Golden, or Burden were to somehow get there. In this specific draft, I don't know if there's enough other good players to push those guys down.
Stacy?
Yeah, just on Luther Burden, I spent time with him yesterday, DJ. You just mentioned him. He's really interesting because, you talk about his hands, the yaks. Something goes off in his brain, and he just wants more opportunities. I think that's what he's wanting at the next level, but he's so coachable. The one thing he told me that people don't realize about him, he wants feedback and he wants to be coached. And I just think that bodes well for him moving into this next level.
That was a heck of a rep by Horn there. Again, just running straight down the 35. There's Hudson.
You're on I-35 and then head north once you get your last catch.
There's Johnson.
Yeah, he's right on the line. Just didn't finish the last one.
And I was about to make a Tez caught it joke.
That's too soon in Dallas.
Is it still too soon? Didn't know that.
That rule was selectively enforced.
No, it was appropriately enforced then, and it led to the appropriate reversal of it.
Respond. I love the tracer on this drill. The tracer was made for this drill.
Okay.
Higgins, he has got a big catch radius.
All right, so when we come back, now it's time to put the quarterback class like Jackson Dart and Quinn Ewers and Dylan Gabriel and Will Howard and so on and so forth out there with all the receivers you just watched run and perform. That's next. Don't you dare move. What do you think would suit him best at the next level, where you're hoping that he could land with? Obviously, I'm sure you won't name a team, but the system that you're hoping he would get to.
Well, I think the thing nowadays in the NFL, the more I get my chance to study these guys in the offseason, and we've started our NFL studies and what people are doing. The NFL, like it's always been for a long time, is such a copycat league, right? And systematically, the verbiage is different, right, from one team to the next. But I think it's more about the play caller than it is what plays you're running, right? It's not so much about the plays; it's when you're calling those plays and putting your guys in position to find rhythm and success. But he's such a kind of accurate passer, right? 20 yards and in, that any system that gets completions and works quick game and intermediate routes. And I always think like what Brock Purdy's doing with the 49ers right now, just how efficient they are, especially in the middle of the field. I think something like that, you look at Kyle's tree of coaches now, where all those guys are, with Miami. And so something like that I think is going to serve him well, because just that tree of coaches from Mike Shanahan and down, and where all those guys have gone, I think will really be good for him.
And there's Will Howard of Ohio State. By the way, you'll know every time he's out there and throwing, because the Buckeye fans that are filling up this Big Ten stadium,
that's right,
are letting him hear it. And I do believe, while you were talking about Ewers, he threw to Isaiah Bond maybe for one final time. Never know, there'll be some pro day action right there. Steve Sarkisian is in the booth. And what do you think the evaluation people are looking forward to seeing today? Like, what would you be looking for?
From the Qs or from the receivers?
From both.
I think probably from both. I think one of the things from a quarterback perspective, right? But how Quinn handled, I think, was good for Arch. But then in the end, I think, for Arch, the beauty for us, he got 2 starts for us this year. And he started our SEC opener against Mississippi State. And so I think that exposure was good for him. But now we're watching him in winter workouts and off-season stuff, really becoming the leader of the team, like the quarterback has to be. And he's got such a great personality that I think his teammates really respond to him. The coaches have started to respond to him. And so I think things are off to a really good start for him. And we've got a pretty good football team around him, which I think is important too. We try to recruit every position at a high level. And as long as he can allow those guys to make their plays, his physical ability will show up, his leadership will show up, and then I think we're going to be able to use his athleticism. Arch is definitely a really big athletic guy that's a different dynamic than we've had over the past couple of years.
One of the things I want to ask you, Coach, is going through this process this year, everybody's talked about NIL and transfer portal and how that's impacted college football. For me, on the scouting side of things, the realignment with the Big Ten and the SEC, I've never seen more good on good with these players as you're studying them, get ready for the season. Did you notice that? I mean, this is a meat grinder that you guys are going through.
We had a unique schedule because obviously we played Michigan too early in the year. I see Rich's shoes down here, but we did play Michigan. We did play Michigan.
It's my armor
in week 2 in Ann Arbor.
It's my armor.
You know, we got to play Clemson. We got to play Ohio State. And so I was even just thinking about Kelvin Banks and Cam Williams, 2 tackles that are here at the Combine. And you think about the defensive ends they blocked this season. I mean, and it's across the board, and from A&M's guys to Georgia's guys. I mean, there's some real dudes we had to block week in and week out. And so for you guys to evaluate the players out of those 2 conferences, it's got to feel more comforting, because I always tell our players, we're trying to remove as many things after but, right?
Yes.
Here's all the good things about player X, but, and those are the things we're trying to reduce, the buts, and move them up into things that you know.
Here's your guy. You want to break it down for us?
Here we go. We're under center, as Kurt's saying, and to be able to throw this ball, right, this deep out cut, right, with a smooth drop, subtle hitch, good base, good balance at the top of it, and lay that ball on the boundary and trust that receiver's going to be there on the boundary. And again, you know, those are the things we're talking about. I don't know who that was. I can't remember what the number was.
That was 2. Stanford.
That's Io Manor.
Yeah, so I don't know if Quinn's ever thrown that pass to him in particular, right?
Right.
But laying that ball in position and trusting that throw can be there.
Well, next up is going to be Bond, and we'll see who the quarterback is going to be. There's Dylan Gabriel throwing it.
And you got a chance to be around him and see Gabriel, and having played against him during his college career.
Yeah, here's Hennigan throwing a Bond right now.
You know, and for the receivers, right, what's different for these guys? In college football, one foot in bounds is a completion. Now these guys are catching this ball on the boundary, and they got to get 2 in, right? And that there's transition and change to the game that we're now obviously looking for as well.
Well, listen to the crowd here. This has been happening all day.
They just appreciate a nice outcut.
Is that what it is?
That's what it is.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Here's another one. See, are they getting on the receiver for not catching that one? Is that what I'm just hearing right now? It's a very Ohio State crowd, Charles Davis.
Yeah, it's a tough crowd, and it wasn't Will Howard's fault, not according to them.
Right.
Listen, hey, Coach, you guys have been talking so well about Quinn Ewers, and we're talking about the physical attributes, how he throws the football, those things. Intangibles, because he and Arch Manning, obviously both sides handled that incredibly well. You handled incredibly well. But let's be honest about it. How tough was that for Quinn, having Arch around on that campus? And to me, he should get extra marks for handling it, keeping his job, and doing what he did during those years, because, folks, that wasn't easy. Everybody wanted to see Arch play.
Well, I couldn't agree more, you know, Charles, and I think that's probably a great thing for Arch as well, because the way Quinn handled it, the way he took Arch in, you know, the way they supported one another, a credit to both those guys, and a credit to Coach, you know, Milwee, our quarterback coach, for managing that situation. But in the end, you know, I think for Quinn, all of the stuff he went through at Texas, right, for 3 years.
Pat McMillan's there from Arizona, the receiver, giving him a little bit of love. But he's had a solid workout thus far. Kurt, have you got a chance to get your eyes on Dart?
Yeah, I'm with you. And, you know, I think the other thing that's nice when you actually come to the Combine, it's one thing to kind of see him on film, but to see Jackson Dart's lower body. He's got that thick, strong lower body, making some of these throws really effortless, being able to get his legs into it, laying it out there. But you're right, ball's coming out really, really well. I know a lot of people wonder about that system, how that helps him, but he's throwing the ball well today.
It's Will Howard. Our colleagues, Colleen Wolfe and Cynthia Freeland, talk to the crowd during our commercial breaks.
Yeah.
They were finding where the Ohio State and Michigan fans are in the stands, and I think they riled them up a little bit.
Got him going.
For when Will Howard's out there slinging it.
That's funny.
It's Max Brosmer right there from Minnesota.
And I know we're watching the quarterbacks, talking quarterbacks. Jack Besh from TCU, the receiver, did not run a 40, is having a phenomenal field workout.
Is that right?
So far. Yeah, he's really looks good, catching the ball well, moving easy.
We saw that in Mobile.
Yep.
Exact same thing you're seeing, and he's a great combat catcher. as well, though. You use that term a lot, DJ.
Yeah, he's
If there's a
tough.
crowd, if there's someone, he's going to go up and go get it.
Brady Cook, who's tested really well, ran fast. He's a good athlete.
Here's Dart. Chewing gum. He's got the flow. Slinging it out there.
Kurt, what's a teaching point on how flat you want this ball?
Well, really, I mean, this is one that's going to have a flat route underneath it. So this one is more kind of up and over. So you want to see a little bit more touch on it. I always like to see, can you show me you can get it up and down, up and over that underneath defender, but still drop it down on your guy. So always trying to see, how high can I throw this? How much touch can these guys put on the football? But there you see Quinn Ewers, a perfect example. Just the ball comes out effortless. Good pace on it. Looks easy for him to make these second-level throws.
Gabriel's got a lot more arm in him than you would think based off of his size. It's just everything he does real compact.
You're right. The ball does come off with kind of a little bit more speed.
This is not football? Like, what is this? What is this? What's
No,
the
throwing
problem?
it 70 yards in the game is not football. Throw it 55 on time, nice air. That's football. Okay, I like it.
go.
Nice.
Listen
Long
to the
drive.
There you
crowd,
go.
though.
On pace. Put some air on it. Let it turn over.
The
Nice
crowd-
and smooth.
The crowd digs it.
Yeah. Okay.
I like the
Too
air
high.
under that
Too
thing.
high.
That's a lot of air.
That is a lot of air.
Okay. Let's see what Brady Cook can cook up. Let Brady cook, Kurt.
That was a sigh. That was
I
such
heard that. I know,
such
Kurt.
an efficient quarterback sigh right there.
Oh, boy.
Now we're at the driving range. This is not real golf.
I'm not mad at the guys with the big arm. We just don't need it all on this.
Kurt wants people to hit doubles every now and then. I get it. Nice
Nice
throw.
guy. Look, who is that,
shot.
Besh?
Nice shot.
Okay,
Besh
here's
has had a
Jackson
day.
Dart, everybody.
He throws a lot of deep balls at Ole Miss. Got it up early.
Nice. That was Bond.
Nice ball. Those are two beauties, Kurt.
They are nice shots. I would
here's
even mind a
Ewers.
little bit more air. You know, always talking about air, because once that ball turns over, now it's easy for your receiver to track. So I like that term you threw out there, Daniel. Early with air. We like to complete these, we say, in a coaching world, right? 42 to 45 yards down the field, not 50, not 60. Just get it up and let your guy go get it, because the farther you have to throw it, the more inaccurate you're going to be. That's just typical football. So we want to get it up early with air and let your guy go get it.
Oh, it was 50 yards down the field for Ewers.
Look at that turnover.
Whoa. Gabriel from his 10, that darted at 35.
He does spin the ball, man. For a guy who's not really big, he can spin the heck out of it.
That's nice.
But again, you see, the farther it goes, harder it is for your guy to track, harder it is to be accurate as that ball kind of fades inside a little bit. So get it up early,
That
let
was
your
nice.
guys chase it down.
Hennigan second go route.
See if Hennigan and Besh would end up lined up
Nice.
together after they had the
All right,
game
here's
winner
Will
at the Senior
Howard.
Bowl.
Here's Will Howard.
There you go.
There's
There's
nice
the
air.
one right there.
Nice
That's
air.
the
There
one.
you go.
Yep.
Even if it's a little underthrown, it's fine. You can still slow down as a receiver and track it, play it, give you some tracker action.
Oh, we got to get a chip in the ball, right? Isn't
We've
what
done
the
that
NFL's
before
doing?
with the trajectory. Ron, he's rolling.
We call that football tracking data. Is that what we call
Yeah,
it?
data. I'm a data guy.
Oh, okay. The FTD.
They want him to really run. Hey, CD, if you're down there, as someone who's playing corner, how important is it when you're covering somebody where they're really trying to push you off here with your speed?
You have to be convinced that they want to run by you and get you turned and get you going. That way, that creates that comeback so easily for you. That gives you the separation. If I don't believe you're going to run by me, if I don't respect that at all, then it's going to be a contested play. And a quick question for you and Kurt. Brady Cook, Missouri. I always thought he was one tough competitor. I feel like he's throwing it pretty well here today. What are you guys seeing?
Yeah, first of all, let's start with how he worked out. I mean, he did all the testing. He jumped. He ran really, really well. When I go through my notes on him, a lot of zone read, quarterback power, use that athleticism. I thought with him, the arm was just okay. It's been better here than I expected. And then there were times I just thought maybe he held the ball a little bit too long on tape. But, that's something you're not going to get a feel for out here today. But he's had a nice day.
Ewers just threw to Bond again. They didn't connect.
Kurt, left-handed, right-handed, when you're throwing to this side, what's easier?
I think always when you can stay open to it is going to be easier. So if you're a righty here, you got your feet open. This way you got to close off, throwing it all the way out. Because what you notice on this play, right, it's what we call a stop route. So they're turning inside, and then they're fading away outside. So this throw needs to go to that outside number. So a little bit longer throw if you're a lefty there. You could see Dillon Gabriel try to kind of fade to the left a little bit to open his shoulders and his hips so he can get that right angle on the football.
Were you with Burnell with the Packers?
I was. Yep, he was with us in Green Bay. And
what the receivers say about the difference?
Well,
Lefties, righties.
You can see it. I was kind of looking at the deep ball because you saw Dillon Gabriel miss a couple of those deep balls, but as he throws it, some of us have like a natural fade. Like if you're a golfer, some people have a natural fade. I had a natural fade on my go ball, so if I throw it to the right-hand side, it fades right to where I want it towards the sideline. If you saw Dillon Gabriel when he threw those go routes, it started to fade back to the inside. So the ability for a receiver to understand that spin and where that maybe that fade or where that ball may be going, from that standpoint is a little bit different for a lefty versus a righty. That speaks to who they are.
Well, I mean, in all honesty, we were talking about it before. I mean, Brosmer went from New Hampshire to Minnesota. Brady Cook spent his entire time at Missouri. Jackson Dart from USC to Mississippi. Ewers had a cup of coffee in Columbus before he went to Texas. Dillon Gabriel, Central Florida, Oklahoma, Oregon. Hennigan, his entire time at Memphis, and we all know Will Howard went from Kansas State to the winner's podium at Ohio State. So in this day and age, transferring is more common. Like, just take a look at this group of quarterbacks you're seeing here. The lion's share of them transferred and had to find another spot. And that's just it from now on.
And Rich, years ago, a transfer quarterback, a transfer player, you had to answer a lot of questions.
Right.
Everybody wanted to know what was going on. Why are you leaving there? They would call your other school to see if you were a problem back there. Now, Kurt said this to me earlier. There are good, valid reasons why guys are moving around more. Plus, the rules make it open and available for them.
Now more deep throws again. Gabriel connecting. See Hennigan again.
I transferred in 97. I was just ahead of my time, apparently.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, they want to know if you were a problem, too. Why is this kid coming here? What did he do?
Because I got tired of getting the crap kicked out of me by all the SEC teams we were playing.
You were looking for a name, image, and likeness.
Hey, they had to build up the coffers of DJ.
Oh, man.
Here's Hennigan throwing again.
Remember,
Nicely
50
done.
starts at Memphis for that young man. 50 starts.
Yeah, very, very productive. Son EJ played against him a couple times, got to see him in person a couple times, and does a lot of things well. Asked him to throw the ball around.
I was on the coaching staff for his father.
Oh, okay. All right.
His father played. There we go.
Aging yourself a little bit.
Age reveal.
Let's put a little more air under this. The first one was a little flat.
There you go.
Yeah. That was better.
Well, I'm trying to figure out this angle, DJ. Like, normally they have this about like 45, 60-degree angle. These guys are going to the high back pylon here, which is a completely different throw for the quarterback. I think they're trying to figure out exactly, normally they set up a cone on the sideline so the quarterbacks have an idea what that angle is. Here, I think these guys are just struggling a little bit to know what is this angle on this particular throw. So we've seen some misses that may not be misses if we had a better idea or work together a little bit more.
Well, that's also why air is your friend here.
No doubt.
A little more forgiving if you get it up.
And if you lay it up and outside, right now the receiver has the ability to adjust to it and still make it a catch instead of having to be right on the money. There it is. Good air right there. There you go. That's it. Nice air. Good job.
Final throws. of this group. Jackson Dart, I guess they want these guys to get to the back pylon, correct?
Yeah, we want to get the ball up in the air and let them go elevate and then get your feet down. Both those balls, you want those to be up a little bit higher towards, what is it, 2 and 2? Kurt, what are your landmarks here?
That's exactly it, by 2x2 box on that back pylon. You know, this is one that, as much as the quarterbacks, you're always out here trying to compete and show people what you can do. This is really about the receivers. So as you said, it's not just about completing it, it's about putting it up in the air and let those guys go up and showcase what they're capable of doing more than it's about making a great throw or a touchdown throw right here. And as you said, DJ, the biggest thing is
that's what I want to see right there.
There you go.
Now we're cooking.
Now
the biggest thing for the quarterback is getting it out of his
Tez.
hands quickly and letting the receiver go get it instead of waiting too long and then having to drive the throw.
With the rest of your day, sir.
You got it. Let's check it out.
Okay, here are the throws from Quinn.
So again, just the accuracy, right? Yard in front of the front number on a slant route, catch and run opportunities. You see that there. The 5-step drop, plant, no hitch, throw, lay it on the boundary on the speed out. And then obviously the deep out cut, which is always one of the throws, right? The NFL is trying to evaluate. Can you make these types of throws, laying the ball on the boundary, having the arm strength and the accuracy, and putting that ball in position where only the receiver can catch it?
We're not. Well, the next drill's on the way. So what are you thinking of Will Howard today?
Solid. I think there's been a couple balls that were maybe a little flat, like to put a little more air under it, but on the whole,
Nice throw.
getting it out there. And I thought footwork-wise, that was something Kurt was touching on earlier for guys that haven't done a ton of it. He's looked very comfortable from under center. Feet look good, firm base. It's a nice throw.
I tell you what, guys, too, my other son actually played at K-State. So Will Howard at K-State before he moved over to Ohio State. I think he's made some great progress with going to Ohio State where they asked him to throw it a little bit more, and I think he's more comfortable in that role now than he was a couple years ago.
Kurt Jackson Dart, I thought the ball's come out really crisp.
It has. I think one of the biggest things for me, as you said, not a question on the amount of arm, just learning some of those things on how to throw. Thought the ball came out a little bit flat and hard on a few throws. But again, I think Quinn Ewers have been the two guys that have jumped out as maybe having the best days of these quarterbacks.
All right, so we're back live. Some nice throw
Shot
right
Will.
there.
Will Howard
Will
just
Howard
made a
there. Nice
beauty.
throw, yeah, live. As these guys are throwing deep balls again.
Two. Guess what? I'd be disappointed with a 4.4. No, I would not. That's what he ran today.
It's like telling your parents, we get a 4.0 GPA, come in with a 3.6, and like, no, like he did great. Like,
He did fine.
He did just fine, and 4.4, and then the drills, he was actually really smooth. And Sark said it, you get all different shape sizes, there's different rules with the feet on the sidelines. He mastered all of it. So I thought he had a really nice day, and I got some texts from some evaluators saying Bond really helped his stock today.
Yeah, he doesn't need to go away worried about that. Listen, he tried to manifest something that didn't work. I'm okay falling down to a 4.4.
Yeah.
All right? We can make that work.
439 officially. We don't want the Bond family tweeting at anybody up here, so we don't,
Hey, I don't have it, so tweet all you want.
Jack Betch did not run the 40, but listen, you saw this firsthand at the Senior Bowl, Charles. He's got a ton of skills.
Listen, he's a mature receiver. Watch how he's running, right? Straight down the line. The hands are sure. The confidence level, putting the foot in the ground and then getting to the sideline and picking it up. And Peter, how about the shoes that he's wearing today?
The Princeton Tiger shoes there, Charles. If you know the story of his late brother, an unbelievable story. Tiger Besh, and of course you guys captured it so well at the Senior Bowl, and he had the game-winning touchdown. But he is an incredible young man, and it's a human interest story that we have seen, and thought Marty Smith and Tom Rinaldi did a great job Super Bowl Sunday, but there's also a fantastic football player out there.
Absolutely. And you see the body on him, he'll go up and compete for the football.
Luther Burden III, highly productive in 2023, not as much in 2024, ran a 4.41. What'd you think?
Well, here's the thing about Luther Burden. Been extremely productive at Missouri. The numbers weren't quite there last year.
Right.
That doesn't mean he's still not a terrific player. Ike will work really well inside in the slot. You see how strongly constructed he is? Father was a basketball player, played in the CBA. How about this for the grandfather? Also named Luther, nicknamed Ticky. Luther Ticky Burden, a big-time star in the Albany, New York area, went to the University of Utah, and later played for the New York Knicks.
And off he goes. First 40 run by the second group of receivers is a fast one.
That's a good omen right there.
4-3-8. Indeed, 4-3 flat. Jordan Watkins now. Another Ole Miss running Reb is running.
He's got the best jewelry we've seen so far.
And a 4-3-8.
Yeah.
He can have a record breaker.
He looks like he's flying.
And a 4-3-6 is nicely done.
That was an easy 4-3-6.
Yeah. Fast. It is fast.
We're cooking now. Let's go.
4-3-5, Stacey Dales. Does he put the skinny in the post? 4-3 flat.
Yep. Those splits at Tennessee, Charles can attest to it. They split you out formationally from C to shining C, and then they let him just run those skinny posts and run right by people.
So the official 40s is there's only one sub 4-3, and it is Matthew Golden from the first group. Dante Thornton Jr. threatened it, but came up on 1/100th of a second shy. Two more sub 4-3-5, and all of those that you could see on the screen. 10 sub 4-4-40s, the fastest group of receivers.
I love it.
Ever. We've never seen 10.
Maybe some discussion surrounding Brandon Ayuk, and he said, yeah, there's been some conversations. Those conversations are always positive. He was paid a lot of money. He had a knee injury. We'll see when he's able to get back, but you know, this is a team, I think they'd like to get a little bit younger. Again, this is the words of John Lynch. They got a lot of money invested in some offensive weapons, and they still need to pay some guys. Got to pay Brock Purdy. George Kittle may get a new contract. If they're able to unload some money for maybe the right deal, it sounds like they may do it. But that's a much harder trade to do than this trade. Again, Debo Samuel headed to Washington.
All right, I have one more follow-up.
Okay.
What's the latest with the Purdy conversations? What are you hearing? What are you thinking on that front?
Those conversations have begun. The 49ers front office and Brock Purdy's agent Kyle Strongen have started talking. And generally, these quarterback deals, Rich, have happened. You know, sometimes they happen in June, sometimes they happen right before training camp, sometimes they happen before the season. Generally, they take forever. And we've also seen big-time quarterbacks land in the 50s. Last year, we had several of them, from Trevor Lawrence to Jordan Love. Where in the 50s is Brock Purdy going to land? Huge question for the 49ers over the next several months.
All right, thank you very much, Ian. Those were my follow-up questions as the news adding a jolt of caffeine to the affair.
Yeah, nice.
Peter, take
Nobody
it away.
was hurt.
Peter?
What's interesting here is a lot of people might be wondering, well, what version of Debo Samuel are they getting? Guys, Debo Samuel is coming to the Washington Commanders with the final year of his contract there. He'll be motivated to not only stay in shape, but to try to do whatever he can to get another contract.
The gauntlet, why are we doing this drill, and what is an example of what this looks like on a football field? Well, let's go to Lad McConkey. Here he is in his combine gear, catching these balls from different angles, and then, hey-oh, now we've got pads and a helmet on, and we're doing the exact same thing on a full sprint, running through the football. Throw's not always going to be perfect. One might be on your face mask. Next one might be a little bit on that back shoulder, but you're running full speed. You still got to adjust and make the play. And he did it lovely as we get to love it.
Look at you.
Right down the line. I'll tell you what, Mason Taylor, the tight end from LSU, he set the bar, and you're seeing these receivers trying to match it. Jalen Royals from Utah State. I think since we added the tracer, Rich, it's taken this gauntlet drill to a new place. Thornton at almost 6'5", ran a 4.3. Kind of on cruise control here as he runs through it.
When we come back, the on-field drills of the quarterback class and the wide receiver class together. Right? I mean, don't you think Jaden Daniels calling him up and saying, how'd you like to come to our spot? That is a significant advantage for the Commanders.
Well, if you're into winning, having fun, and playing with a dynamic young quarterback that you'll get to be with for the rest of your career, that's pretty appetizing for a lot of folks.
So that's the news here. While the wide receivers are working out, a 5th-round selection going from the Commanders to the 49ers. And Debo Samuel's terrific tenure with the 49ers since coming out of college is in fact over. And he will be in the NFC East for the runners-up in the division and the conference. The Washington Commanders. How about that? That's really watching.
Nice catch by Mumfield.
How about that, Kurt? You know, I mean, that's pretty big.
Huge. Huge. Back to the gauntlet here, watching the fellas.
Yeah, Nash can catch. He only caught 104 balls this year, Kurt, so you can tell really struggles there.
Oh, a little
drops
struggle
here for Nair.
Yeah.
I see him run. Yeah, he's got strong hands. That one got on him. He still made the catch. He got 2 bad balls at the end. What was cool, that's the first time I've seen a trade announced on the screen when you're in the stadium with all the other teams, and I was just looking at all the different booths to make. A lot of people did not know that was coming. I can tell you that much, based off the reactions.
Well, here's our first look at Xavier Restrepo of Miami.
He is a tough cover. Gave me some Chad Hall vibes. You remember Chad Hall, a little receiver, and is now with the Giants, I believe, coaching.
Yeah, he had been with Buffalo at one point, coaching receivers there. How about little Braxton Berrios coming from the same school?
No doubt.
You know what he told me, DJ Restrepo?
What's that?
That he was a defensive player and then decided to move over to offense because he thought it suited his talents better.
There's a lot of quick hitters, whip routes, just in and out. He is shifty, and he can make you miss after the catch. There's one against Virginia Tech where he's on the ground sitting on his backside and still caught it.
By the way, the first throw right here of this gauntlet, that was thrown by Riley Leonard, who's out there for the gauntlet. More you can do, right?
Yeah, some guys chipping in.
Just another way to get loose, Rich.
Another way to get loose.
Oh, this is going to be a loud cheer here for this one when he gets through.
How about Tesla? We got to see him. He was a late Senior Bowl lad. Remember he began his career at Hillsdale? Wasn't that Jared Valdir, the offensive lineman who was at Hillsdale?
Oh, yeah. On a scouting trip to Hillsdale.
Michigan.
Jordan Watkins. He's rolling.
That's a nice gauntlet.
That is really good.
That was very nice.
He ran well, too.
You got Milroe out here, Rich, right there, making the throws.
Nice.
If I was Milroe, I'd never wear sleeves.
Well, his hand got bigger.
Yeah, so let me help you with that, Rich.
Okay.
You get different scouts measuring different times. Now, guys can work on trying to stretch their hand out, so when it gets measured from the tip of your pinky to the tip of your thumb, you can do exercises, and they can get massages, try and make that a little bit wider. But usually it's pretty much as simple as it's a different scout who one of the two didn't quite do it properly. Usually that's the case.
All right.
Yes, sir. How has he been hard on you the most? Because I don't think anybody's harder on you than you, but then him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, nah, Pops, he hard on all of us. You know, he's hard on Jimmy, too. He was just mad at Jimmy a couple weeks ago. But anyway, he's definitely hard on us, so we know the expectation of other coaches. It wouldn't equate to just the discipline and just the life factors that he places on us on a daily. We just understand what it's going to be like.
The thing I love about you guys is you have this, like, each unique journeys of changing culture, right?
Yeah.
Like, how the quarterback is the catalyst, right? Like, how did the culture change at Colorado?
The culture at Colorado changed a lot. It's like, it changed a lot, especially with him coming in and Coach Prime and everybody else. Like, that program changed a lot.
As we wrap up, what are you most proud of your leadership qualities?
I'm just proud of, my first time and my only time coming to the NFL Combine. I'm able to enjoy it with my guys because was on the phone with them making a decision, like helping them, saying, come be a part of this. I'm telling you, And then for everything to happen exactly how we wanted it to, and to be able to see them be out here and be able to compete is truly amazing. But it'll be more surreal, I'll say, at Pro Day at Colorado. The whole team.
Yeah, I got to throw it back up, but you never stop smiling, Shador. Just wipe it off. Wipe it off. Oh, we got some more questions.
Yeah, no, I got one last question. Ask Shador, does he know where he currently ranks on Prime's favorite child list right now? Can you ask him that question? Does he hear it?
He's got an earpiece in.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I
Shador, where do you...
Jimmy, how
Shador,
he ranks on Prime's all-time kids list.
Well, no, it changes week to week. I don't know,
yeah,
right, Shador?
Yeah, it changes week to week, but I think this week I'm the favorite son.
Okay.
I think this week I'm the favorite son, but next week, I don't know. So I don't get comfortable in my position right now.
You Bucky? Bucky?
Maybe. Nah, it's me right now. It's me right now for sure. But it may be LeJohntay because he had a good 40 time.
Okay.
It may be LeJohntay, so we all his sons at the end of the day.
What do you do to piss him off, though? Like, what changes the tide?
Don't listen. You don't listen, then he gets mad. So, see, he was just mad at Jimmy, right?
Yeah, he was mad at me a little bit.
Why?
Why?
I don't even know.
Evaluation with Kurt and DJ here. But don't fall asleep on this group of Qs throwing it. I think McCord's going to throw it well. Shuck's going to throw it well. I think it's going to be a fun group to watch.
Cord had monster production this year at Syracuse.
And monster motivation too, huh, DJ?
No question. Getting, leaving where he was at Ohio State and then getting to Syracuse and making things happen there. Derek Carr was the one that kind of popped into my head a little bit just watching him throw the ball.
How vital is today for Jalen Milroe, DJ?
Yeah, you want to see him throw it. Every opportunity he gets to throw the football here, pro day, private workouts, he's got a chance to help himself. He has got a hose, though. It's just a matter of directing it and being a little bit more precise with your footwork, which is going to help with your accuracy.
And one thing we know in the National Football League, it's become so much more about being athletic at the quarterback position. So we look at this group, and you may say not a lot of great athletes, so to speak, in this bunch. Jalen Milroe is one of those guys that has that potential. If he can do what you're talking about and kind of fine-tune the throwing aspect of things, he's got the big play ability, with his legs as well.
Shuck's got a big arm, guys. He can just kind of hang on the back foot. Kurt doesn't really have to even have a full transfer, and he can generate a lot of velocity.
Well, and one thing that I was seeing is he was doing some of these other drills that we don't actually see on video, but they make a number of different throws that they're taking through kind of before we get into the drills. And there were a number of throws where, as you said, he wasn't even really setting his feet, just kind of coming across and popping it and throwing it off platform. And as you said, DJ, ball was coming out and popping, and being able to make those second level throws was pretty impressive.
And guys, every year, don't we, real quick, Rich, don't we have that one guy every year that comes in and says, I'm the big arm guy, and I can't wait to throw it around? Yep. Certainly feels like Tyler Shuck has assumed that identity here.
This is Corral, right?
It is, and he's getting some shots
He's
now.
getting regular. They're getting regular
shots.
Through. Yeah,
well, good for them.
I'm wondering how you get an invite. I want to get in.
Listen. You don't sign up to be a throwing quarterback unless you sign in for a few extras.
Back here, going through more drills.
Nice ball.
Shuck. Now here is Riley Leonard.
Riley Leonard's thrown the ball well, and he's doing it with like a Billy Madison motif with the hat on backwards, which I kind of dig.
A lot of cheers. The crowd here. There's Kyle McCord throwing. Jalen Milroe.
Kurt, we were talking off the air about Riley Leonard and how he was throwing. David Morris is who he's been working with, and I asked him what their focus has been. He talked about fast feet, drops with body control, a lot of work on his deep and intermediate throws.
Unreal.
And they scored, and then Ohio State took control and throttled from there. But he really was very. Remember, they ran over 10 minutes off the clock in the first drive.
Yeah, I
don't think that's a question. Great athlete for sure.
Part you've got.
It's just a matter of the consistency throwing the football, and it's looked good. If that work he's put in, it's looked good today.
He can. That's Shuck. Shuck can drive the football though, guys. When he gets his weight transferred and really lets it go, he can throw it.
By the way, I mean, you just want to talk about, that Ohio State, that national championship game in that run for the playoffs. I mean, that Jeremiah Smith, man, it's like every game is his pro day, right? I mean, every snap is his pro day.
We went in the Raiders booth after we were done last night and got a chance to visit with Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly.
Right.
We were talking with Pete. I asked Chip, I said, hey, just curious, what that freshman receiver weigh? And he said he played at about 225, 227.
My God.
He said he could eventually carry 240 pounds and run like that. That's
insane.
He's a freak.
Stacy?
Yeah, Rich, I thought it was important to take a moment to address the medical history with Tyler Shuck. Obviously, played a long time in college, right? He gets the questions, and he's gotten a lot of them this week. He understands the questions. I think he's kind of tired of them, right? So 2 broken collarbones through his college career, the second of which he had surgery to repair. It's been a non-issue since that surgery. The other injury was a broken left fibula that he suffered after a hip drop tackle. So a freak accident. I'm sure he would have other choice words based upon the hip drop tackle, but these are non-issues for him, and he feels very healthy, he feels very good, and he is ready to make the next step to the NFL.
Thank you.
There is 2 sides to that, though, too, because from the player standpoint, you see it as a freak accident and a fluke injury. When you're in the draft room, they're missed games, and it's availability and durability, and that factors in. So, there's 2 different ways of looking at that.
Some nice throws by Milroe there. And as Corral comes out here, I mean, we also saw McCord out there as well.
He had a nice ball on this throw.
Back here, the strike and whip route. We're watching it. We were just had Stacy just had Shador, but we need to be fair and balanced, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Equal time,
absolutely.
Stacy?
Yes, fair and balanced with the strike and the whip, and a guy that can strike the ball really well is Cam Ward. I've not seen you once without a football while you've been here. So, how much would you rather be out there than just holding this thing?
I don't know. I'm excited for Pro Day, though. I got some dogs at receiving in my receiving corps. Sam Brown, Jacoby Restrepo, who's out here. Aurora's going to be healthy, so, I'm ready for us four to, go make some plays.
Sounds like you already have a plan. What are you going to show off on Pro Day?
A little bit of everything. Quick game, intermediate, deep ball for sure. I got some deep threats at wide out, so, we're gonna show the whole bag.
Gosh, I mean, there's so many beautiful parts of your game. You are just so multiple, I would say, but your brain, right? What's the feedback you've got about your football acumen?
I think just the IQ, the demeanor I play with every game, not to get too high or too low. It's a game of, runs, I would say, in football. You can go on a good drive, and next drive it could be a 3-and-out or a pick. And so, just the mindset that you got to have every series, and, just continue to motivate your guys.
The last thing I just wanted to say was that you made a comment about there was a time you didn't shine. You weren't in the shine. How did that humble you to where you're shining right now?
I think he's always humbled me. Never forget where he came from. Never forget the situation that God put you in to put you in moments like this. Just every time I step on the field, I just gotta do what I know is right for my teammates and myself.
We love you. Can't wait to see where you go. Rich, he's one of the good ones. We'll throw it back up to you on that note.
Thank you very much. It's Cam Ward, and well done, Stacy, trying to get him to throw today. That was I thought you almost had him.
That's Noel. He's had a phenomenal day catching the ball. I don't know if you have a better day than him in terms of the testing, the route running, everything.
I mean, nobody talks to Christian McCaffrey anymore about what happened in the Sun Bowl, right? Not playing in the Sun Bowl.
Yeah.
Is there anything about the Cam Ward bowl game half that really resonated at all this week that you heard?
No, I said it at the time when everybody was freaking out about it.
Right.
Like, no, you've got to change your mind around how these bowl games are viewed. It's almost an exhibition game. It's the early spring game, so to speak, to get a look at the rest of your roster. And then I said, then he should have just not played at all, and it's just stop.
Hey, DJ?
Yeah.
I got to get in on that very quickly,
Go
Rich.
for it, Charles.
Because I'm total agreement with you on this, DJ. I just wish Miami had come out and been definitive about it.
Yeah, but that was the plan. That was the plan.
Yes,
yeah.
but you guys remember, did anyone hear anything real definitive? No, and it just swirled and swirled and swirled. And then finally it came back. Oh, it was the plan. Be definitive from the beginning. If you have an agreement with the young man, just say what it was.
I'm with you guys. I mean, I think you have to have the patience. I think that's one of the hardest things when you draft these guys high. It's the patience to say we're willing to give him time. I mean, you talk about Jordan Love. Well, man, as soon as he came in to play, now we're already talking about, do we need to extend him? Do we need to assign him to one of these big deals? And I think that's where it gets really, really hard, is that you want a guy to play. You want to know who they are. So if they do get to that second contract, you've got a definitive answer on whether they can be the guy or not. But to me, it's about patience. It's about understanding when they're ready and if they're ready. We talked about Anthony Richardson. I don't believe he's ready to be a full-time starter. I don't believe he's ready to carry a team with his right arm, and you continue to throw him out there, and you see mistake after mistake, and now they're wondering, is he the guy for the future? When we all knew coming in, he was a project anyways. He was going to need some time. We just didn't give him the time. And that, to me, is where it becomes important, because the reps aren't readily available. You don't have a lot of games in which you're going to play, so it's going to take some time for these guys to learn how to be passers when they've never had to do it before.
Tongue-in-cheek question, are the Packers still publicly owned?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying right there, right? There's no...
You don't have that person coming down to the coach's office and saying, excuse me,
what's up?
The guy that we signed number 1, when's he going to play? Right. We don't have that. It's a little bit different there. So I'm not saying that's everything in Green Bay. They still have to do it, and they're doing it right. But it is a little bit different, and maybe that is part of why they've been able to do this over the number of years. Plus, they've made good decisions on who they've drafted or brought in.
It's an interesting conversation. One of the things when you look at all these transfers that we've seen here, and these guys, Shuck's got 4 degrees. He's going to be a 25-year-old rookie. That there is now options for these guys to still get paid and develop at the collegiate level. So it's interesting to see the different choices you have.
I guess I just,
League has changed. It's different in terms of the amount of reps that you get, but I think you've got to invest in it if you're going to do it.
Good go routes there. Nice throw by Shuck.
Beautiful throw.
As we're going through this conversation, just to quickly put a button on it while we're watching these go routes, you mentioned how ask the Packers, DJ, how to do it, and I did say, what a throw. And I did say, hey, Jordan Love had 3 years. Malik Willis had basically 3 weeks in their system and won some very important games as a starter, looking very good while doing it.
And that was good coaching, Rich, because they played to what Malik Willis could do best to fit what was happening at that time and tailored it that way. One last thing before we absolutely button this up. I think DJ's onto it with the NIL, though. Go back to last year's draft. It's not just the NIL, COVID, extra year, extra time. DJ, did we have a single one of those 6 quarterbacks that we thought was inexperienced? The answer was no. Every one of those 6 that came in. J.J. McCarthy didn't play due to injury. Penix played late and acquitted himself quite well. All right, Caleb Williams had his struggles, but he showed why he was number 1 overall. And then just go through the rest of them. Daniels, Nix, all of them had experience. That NIL may get people to stay longer. And if we keep getting 30, 40, 50 starts, we'll get more experienced guys who'll play earlier.
Yeah, that's how I would wrap it up, too. I'm not to offend the other conferences, but the Big Ten and the SEC, after all this realignment, that is as good of challenge you're going to have on a weekly basis with depth and talent and NFL players. Kurt, you played overseas to get that kind of almost, minor league football experience just below the National Football League. We've never seen depth and talent like they have in those 2 conferences right now. So you can go get several $1 million and spend an extra year or 2 in college and playing that high level, that high brand of football. That's how you get developed.
Here's Jalen Milroe's throw.
It's a little bit underthrown on that one. Just got to get up a little bit earlier.
By the way, just one more quarterback to mention too. Spencer Rattler got in there as well last year. And nice throw by Milroe there.
He played a lot of football.
And there's a conversation about maybe he could be the starter in New Orleans this year. I mean, that's out there, as Derek Carr is still in New Orleans. Nice throw by Milroe.
There's Shuck. Beautiful ball. Nice catch as well. That was Jalen Lane with the catch. There's a nice shot down the field. Here's Milroe. He's a lot of pace on that one. We'll be right back.
10 yards, 3 lines, Webb.
Back here, watching Jalen Milroe. Rip it.
Throw.
Charles Davis and Kurt Warner, you can see at the top of your screen on the 10-yard line. They're on the field.
We saw a few missed throws here on what we call a stop route. You kind of push up, stop, and get turned to the outside and fall back to the sideline. But they got this cone set up at 16 yards. They keep telling the receivers they want them to run it at 15 yards.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a little confusion here, you know, and the quarterbacks are back here trying to figure out the mix. So we had a few misses early. Guys are starting to settle in a little bit here and make this throw.
Yeah, I've seen it several times where they've gone beyond that 15 mark. That was a full 16.
But I can't hoop.
You can definitely hoop. You don't have to jump over the rim to hoop.
Just so you know, Kurt, you're talking to somebody who could dunk a volleyball, but nonetheless.
A donut.
Hey, you guys probably forgot Brock Osweiler was offered by Gonzaga.
Oh, yeah.
And hoops.
Well, he's 7 foot tall. That doesn't count.
You know, he was a 7 foot 3-point
All
shooter.
right. So see, they changed this drill up. The earlier group didn't
now we've
have,
got a cone.
Yeah, it didn't have the pylon sitting there to set the angle for them. So they've set this up, and now we're coming out. Kyle McCord making some nice throws on what we would call the pylon corner route.
By the way, the first over-the-top mention at the Combine since Tyson Bagent, right?
Oh, yes, that's right, the arm wrestler.
Take it away, Stacy.
Well, I just caught your conversation on Riley Leonard. I just wanted to add to that. You guys are exactly right. I mean, this was huge for him today. Everybody, he says, that thinks I have a weak arm, he wanted to come out here and show that he doesn't. He wanted to prove people wrong and show that he's got a strong arm. And he really, this season, DJ, wanted to showcase the deep ball more downfield. He didn't get to do so in a lot of games, as he talked about this week, but he was hoping to show it today, and I think he did, and I love that he's a hooper.
Yeah, and he didn't have to throw it down the field because he could turn around and hand it off to that running back,
That's
and
true.
he could do the work for him. Yeah, stud, Jeremiah Love. Shuck, good feet. Nice ball.
Yeah, Shuck does a nice job. He's got good, fast feet. I always
He's
say
getting
one of
back
the things that we want to do is win with our feet. Get back there so we can settle and get our weight going towards our target. He does have a tendency at times to kind of his left part of his body kind of steps and shifts it left and tries to throw it back right. You see the ball kind of tailing away from him, but I really do like his feet and the way that he gets back there quick. He's in position to be able to get the ball out. And another nice throw there by Riley Leonard.
Yep.
Well, the evening began with Shuck's fast feet.
Yeah, running fast and celebrating it too, rightfully so.
He did. He told me before he even ran, he goes, I just want you to make sure you make mention on the broadcast that I ran the fastest 40 time of this group. He was the only one to run, but he was the fastest 40 time of this group.
That's right. Fantastic.
He wasn't wrong.
What a catch. That Tesla right there?
Yeah.
That's why it's so important for the quarterback to get the ball up. You know, these guys are trying to make it a jump ball, even if the ball's not high enough. And you kind of got caught funny right there. Yeah. These quarterbacks, you got to remember that this is not your drill. There's certain drills that come out here, and even though you're throwing, this is about the receivers trying to lay it up high and show everybody that they can go up and track it and still get those feet down.
Nair. Oh, here's Noel. See if he can cap off what's been an awesome day. Go.
Look out.
He's got to get a foot down.
You got to keep him in the house. I always say that.
Give him a chance. Keep it on the court was the our coach, old coach used to always say.
Strepo with a nice grab.
Was Royals.
will say I do like the fact that the last couple of years they've changed some of these routes, DJ. They've added a couple different things in, a couple more routes that pertain to different concepts we see, and you get a chance to see different aspects of throwing the football.
I'm with you.
The Tesla family.
They're all in.
Delight.
I love that ball was low. He caught it low and then tried to raise it up above his head as if he'd high pointed it. It was great.
Exactly. They're trying to make it a high point.
Yeah.
That's just fun. I just love the fact that, with fans being allowed in, and I'll be honest, I mean, I know for years scouts didn't want it. Some real old school coaches would be rolling over if they knew that was happening right now, right? But I don't recall a moment where it's been a distraction or a problem. It's all been additive with the fans being here the last few years.
So scouts have been known to complain. You know why they don't complain anymore?
No.
Because they opened up the suites and the scouts have been fed.
Okay, all right, I got it.
Riley Leonard, the day he's had today, he's thrown it well. Hey, it's like over the top. When you flip the hat around backwards,
nice.
It's all business from Riley Leonard. His feet look good. The ball's come out nice. Just relaxed, chewing some gum. Just out here to play a little pitch and catch. Kurt, I think you can see he's been working. Someone who can run the football and is athletic, tough, leadership, intelligence, all those things, those are all known. The thing is, can he continue to improve footwork-wise, and is that going to lead to some improved ball placement and accuracy? And I think I've seen some positive strides from him today.
I don't think there's any doubt.
That might have been the strength of his game at Alabama at times, but he was the Heisman winner for academics and has interviewed really well this season. And then throwing the ball, did well. I got a text on one of those deep passes he had at the end there. One of the deep ones said, "Ooh, Milroe, I didn't know he could do that." So he impressed out there, and it's one of the reasons why you do compete. You want to show your arm strength. He was able to do that today.
Yeah, you do that Heisman Trophy. You're talking about the Campbell Trophy Award.
That's right.
And by the way, the arm strength, never an issue for him. Footwork, I think, is going to be the key. You get that footwork and get the accuracy down. Let me tell you something. A lot of quarterback coaches take a look at Jalen Milroe. All their hands would be in the air saying, yes, I'll take him, please.
Yeah, there's no question about it. He can throw the deep ball. Plenty of arm strength. As for a guy who was around college football for 7 years and has his 4 degrees, Tyler Shuck, he was the only quarterback in this group that ran 4.63 and then played to the crowd, which was fun. It'll be interesting to see where he fits, because you're going to be talking about a 25-year-old rookie, Charles.
Yeah, and I don't think that's an issue anymore. Remember when we always talk about if a guy was overaged and what's his ceiling? I think that's out the window. We've had too many things that have happened in our world. You take what comes to you, and by the way, 25 now becomes a strength. Added maturity. If he has to play early, you're not worried about him taking over a huddle. I thought he tried to do a bit too much tonight in showing all the different things, and I think that's what Kurt's talking to him about. You just go back there, get your footwork right, and let it rip, and he shows well.
His deep pass, I got a text from him saying he threw the prettiest deep pass of anyone today, and he showed up and he really showed out. So
yeah.
good.
By the way, he's not that old. He's not a silver fox like the guy that he's talking to. Kyle McCord, jettisoned from Columbus, Ohio, a soft landing in Syracuse, where he threw from nearly 4,800 yards and 34 touchdowns. What did you see, Peter?
And he lifted that program from the ashes, really. They had this amazing year this year. He played well today, and he interviewed really well this week. Anyone who met with him said he's a leader, he's smart, and he threw the ball really well. Bigger body than a lot of people expected, too, when he got in the room. So I think he had a good week. Obviously a draftable player, Kyle McCord.
Don't forget he came from a big-time program in high school.
He was
by the way, he's throwing to Marvin Harrison Jr. So, he knows how to play in big games. He has the extra motivation because essentially was told to leave Columbus, Ohio. Right. Go find yourself a new spot. He did, and look what he did with Syracuse and got them in a great spot where they won 10 games this year, the whole deal. Very rhythmic thrower. Did you notice how balanced he was? The footwork, no extra hurry in the pocket, but when he hit the back foot and threw the football, it was accurate, on time, in the right place.